Tánaiste, as before you return here to the House next Thursday to take leaders' questions here on the 3rd May next, your government, spearheaded by the Labour Party and the Labour Minister, will already have implemented a savage attack on one-parent families all over the country. One-parent families with children aged 12 will no longer be eligible for one-parent family payment. These children are still in primary school, and you are implementing this change at 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, the opening of business next Thursday, the 3rd of May. I understand people don't want to hear this, the Labour Party, but you'll be voting for this today. Count Corley, can I be please allowed the courtesy?
Please allow the Speaker the right to speak. We're in a parliamentary democracy. Thank you. Please proceed without interruption. Thank you.
As I said, there will be further cuts for one parents of 10-year-olds in 8 months' time on the 1st of January, and these children are in 4th class. So you are saying to children who are in 6th class today that their parents, if they are new applicants for one-parent family payment, after next Thursday, the 3rd of May, which is the date in the legislation, they will no longer be eligible. They are not to be home to mind their children when they come home from primary school, and I'd ask the Minister beside you to take note of that. And this is a downright disgrace. We've had a smokescreen here the last week by the Minister in relation to a Scandinavian model that she would like for 2014 for 7-year-olds, but she's having this to camouflage what's actually happening to the under 12 and under 10-year-olds commencing next week. Also, by reducing the age from 14 to 7, you will be reducing over the next few years the number of people in receipt of this payment from 92,000 to 46,000 people, and you will be saving £500 million of taxpayers' money on the backs of the one-parent family payments. The second savage cut that you're implementing
question,
here,
please.
I'm coming to that, is that you are cutting payment to people who are in receipt of job seekers' benefit, and you're doing that by way of this legislation. And cynically, I am shocked that you picked on the people who are in receipt of mortgage interest supplement. You are proposing here to implement legislation here today to give the banks and financial institutions a veto which they never had before in relation to people who are applying for mortgage interest supplement. You are having legal restrictions against those people, and you're doing nothing to the banks. Please explain why you are doing these changes here today.
Thank you.
Count Corla, the changes in the one-parent family payment were first introduced by your own party, Deputy Fleming, in 2010, when you changed the age at which the payment will be made for lone parent payments. However, unlike the present government, you made no provision for changes in the childcare system to accompany that change. The difference on this occasion is that the changes which are being made in respect of one-parent family payments are being accompanied by changes in the childcare provision. This year's Social Welfare and Pensions Bill contains changes so that for new recipients, Deputy Fleming, from May 2012, one-parent family payment will be made until the youngest child reaches the age of 12. Many of those who have raised concern about the measures being introduced in the bill are concerned about reducing the age to 7. The Minister for Social Protection has already made it clear that she shares these concerns without there being a system of safe, affordable and accessible childcare in place. The Departments of Social Protection and Children and Youth Affairs are already working to take a coordinated, cross-departmental approach to childcare and after-school care for the children of working parents. The Department of Social Protection and the Department of Children and Youth Affairs have already established a subcommittee of the Interdepartmental Group on the Single Working Age Payment to examine the delivery of after-school care and to develop an appropriate framework for this. The Department of Social Protection is providing data on the numbers of one-parent family payment recipients by age of child to the Department of Children so that it can develop an information register on the number, type, cost and location of after-school places available on a county basis. And the Department of Children is liaising with the county childcare committees to examine after-school care that is available and gaps in the service. And of course the development of the National Employment and Entitlement Service and the profiling of job seekers, which is underway at the Department of Social Protection, will lead to a better identification and understanding of the supports that are needed by individual customers to help them get back to work and the extent to which these are available and affordable.
Thank you. Deputy Fleming, 1 minute.
Just 1 minute to respond. It's clear, Taoiseach, you made no reference at all to the changes you're making next week for the under-12s and in 8 months' time for the under-10s. You're reducing the age from 14 to 10 in the next 8 months, and you will have no accompanying measures in place. Whatever about 7-year-olds in 2014, that was a very successful smokescreen by the Minister to throw up the 7-year-olds a couple of years' time, such that people would be diverted and not realise what's happening next week, and you didn't deal with that. There's no accompanying measures for new applicants next week or by the 8th or by the 1st of January next. Secondly, I'm shocked, and I would ask you, what have the one-parent family parents done to the Labour Party and you in government? I want to know, what did those who were in part-time work, trying to hold on to the jobs by the skin of their teeth, and their employers trying to keep them in part-time work, have you done to attack people on job seekers' benefit? You're cutting it this afternoon for those on job seekers' benefit by 30%. And finally, why are you attacking the most vulnerable group in view of what you said at your conference, those in receipt of mortgage interest supplement? You're changing the rules here this afternoon, and you are giving the banks a veto for the first time ever, whether or not a person who is to go to their community welfare officer to get mortgage interest supplement, they must have approval from their banks to start with it in the first place. And some of those banks are not even Irish banks. Some of them are not even regulated by the Irish regulator. So what have all these financially vulnerable people done to you, Taoiseach?
What the government is doing, Deputy Fleming, is we're sorting out the mess that you left us. You left. No. Hold on a second. Because I'm quite happy to address. Quite happy to address the question directly. But frankly, I have to respond to the sanctimonious claptrap that you have just come out with. You left this country broke, Deputy Fleming. And we're trying to fix it, and we're doing it in a way that is fair and that is reasonable. It is manifestly untrue.
Excuse me. You lost the right to speak. Now listen to the reply. Thank you.
It is manifestly untrue, as you have claimed, that this government is not protecting those who are weakest. We have ensured that there is no cut in basic social welfare payments, that we have taken people out of the universal social charge that you placed them in, 330,000 people. We have reversed the cut in the national minimum wage, which you implemented. And unlike you, the changes that we are making in the social welfare system are accompanied by measures, in the case of lone parents, for the provision of childcare, in the case of people who are out of work, by measures that will enable them to get back to work, and which are contained in the programme which has been set out in the Pathways to Work programme, and most importantly, by the efforts that we are making to get investment into this country so that jobs will be created, because the best way and the surest way for anybody out of poverty is to get a job, and that's what this government is working at, ensuring that we get employment, investment in the country, and we won't take any of this sanctimonious nonsense from Fianna Fáil, which left this country broke, and you should spend a long time in repentance about that before you stick your head up and claim that we're not addressing the problems of the people.
Deputy Mary Lou MacDonald, thank you. Could I have I called Deputy MacDonald. Thank you. Would you please allow Deputy MacDonald to speak? Thank you.
Taoiseach, today the Troika complete their 6th review of the Irish so-called bailout programme. And I've no doubt that the government will be telling us that the main targets have been met, that the Troika are satisfied with progress as we approach the halfway point in the programme. No doubt you'll tell us that all is well and rosy in the garden. But Taoiseach, what progress are we really making? Yesterday, Finance Minister Noonan told the Finance Committee that growth projections will be yet again revised downward. Little wonder, given the wrecking ball this government have taken to the domestic economy. The total number of people, as you know, Taoiseach, on the dole queues are 434,800, or 14.3%. And there are 100,000 homes in mortgage distress. And Taoiseach, yet, you, along with your friends in the Troika, plan to impose another 8 billion of cuts over the next 3 years. Maybe you can tell me, Taoiseach, whether or not the government have discussed the prospect of a second bailout with the Troika. Maybe you could also tell us whether or not you have discussed the issue of stimulus. You talk about jobs, you talk about it as being a way out of poverty. We accept that. Why is it, though, that you turn your face against stimulus?
Thank you. Taoiseach.
We don't turn our face against stimulus. This government is in favour of stimulus for the economy. And once again, Deputy MacDonald, you will find when the new memorandum of understanding is made available, and when the event takes place and when the announcement is made about the outcome of the Troika review of our programme, you will find once again, Deputy MacDonald, that you are wrong. The Troika review will, as you have said, make it clear that progress has been made. I expect that the Troika review will directly address the issue of growth and the necessity for growth in the Irish economy. This government has always made it clear that in order to bring about recovery in this country, we do have to get our budget situation under control, we do have to get down the deficit, we do have to deal with the issue of the debt that we inherited and the enormous difficulties that we inherited from the previous government, but we have to get our economy to grow. And that means two things, Deputy MacDonald. It means, first of all, getting investment into this country. And you will have read, I'm sure, this morning, the article by the Chief Executive of the IDA, where he sets out the progress that the IDA has made in getting, over the last year, in getting additional jobs into this country. I will be joining, as soon as I leave here today, I will be joining him and the Taoiseach in my own constituency at a plant where 100 new jobs will be announced, 350 additional jobs in construction, part of the evidence of the continuing attraction of jobs into this country. And he makes it clear in his article that in order for us to continue to do that, that we need to pass the Stability Treaty, something that you are opposed to. We also have to get growth in the domestic economy. And this government is very much focused on measures which are needed to grow our domestic economy, to stimulate it, to expand it, and to create the jobs that are necessary to bring about recovery. So you're going to be disappointed again, Deputy MacDonald, that the script that you have pre-written for yourself this morning will not be followed. There will actually, this review by the Troika will address the issue and the need for this economy to grow into the future.
Thank you. Deputy MacDonald, 1 minute. Thank you.
Well, you know, it'll be news to the hundreds of thousands of people on the dole queues that progress is being made. It certainly will be news to the lone parents upon whom you're imposing cutbacks that progress is being made. But you're sticking to your own script in that regard. You say that you're in favour of growth, and yet you pursue a policy of austerity. I asked you a very direct question. I asked you whether or not, in your view, we are facing into a second bailout. I asked you whether or not you've discussed that matter with the Troika. I'd like you to answer that. And I'd also like you to clarify in this stall the fact that if this state is faced with this prospect, that we will have access to funding, irrespective of the vote of the people on your austerity treaty. I'd like you to clarify in the Dáil that it falls within your gift as government, exercising a veto, to ensure that no mechanism, no funding mechanism at a European level is designed in such a way as to block out Ireland. I want you to confirm that. You know as well as I do that the bailout fund can't come into existence without the ratification of this state. You know that, Taoiseach. However, in the absence of any positive argument for cutbacks and austerity, you choose to cynically scaremonger. So set the record straight in the House today and tell the people the full authority that you have on this matter. So are we looking at a second bailout? And reassure us, Taoiseach, that you will ensure that this state will have access to, because that is in your gift as well, you know.
You have a hard neck to ask me to set the record straight.
After yesterday.
You publish a leaflet quoting economists who support the treaty to give the impression that they're imposing it. Deputy.
Excuse me. Would you mind? Thank you.
Okay. Let me answer your question. Let me answer your question directly. Deputy MacDonald. Let me answer your question directly, because your question is, have we discussed a second bailout with the Troika? The answer to that is no. We are pursuing.
Sorry, would you mind, please, Deputy Toby?
Our intention, Deputy MacDonald, is to get out of the programme. And we plan to be out of the programme within 2 years. And we are on track to do that, and we're on target to do that. And I believe that the report from the Troika today will confirm that. And I am confident that we will do that. But there are things that can blow that off course, Deputy MacDonald. One of them, for example, would be if the people of Ireland takes your twisted advice and votes against the Stability Treaty. Because we need. No. Let's.
Sorry, would you mind, please? Thank you. Excuse me. Deputy MacDonald, would you mind asking your backbenchers to stay quiet, please? Thank you.
We can get out of this programme, Deputy MacDonald, provided that there is continuing confidence in this country. We believe that that confidence will continue in circumstances where the people of this country approve the Stability Treaty, ensure that there is stability around the euro, and assure investors that this is a good country in which to invest and to create jobs. On the other hand, if the people of Ireland follow your advice, for which you adduce in a twisted way the comments.
I really object to the personal insults that you're drawing across the floor. I object to it. I think to refer to another member as twisted. I can only deduce that the Taoiseach.
Please resume your seat. Would you resume your seat? Deputy, I'd ask you to respect the chair and resume your seat. Thank you. This is a political debate. It's not. Thank you, Taoiseach. We're way over time. Thank you.
Count Corley, I have not.
Sorry. Would you please? Thank you.
Count Corley, I have never personally insulted anybody in this House. I do engage. No, I didn't refer to you. I did not refer to you as twisted. But the content of the leaflet that you produced is twisted, and the advice that you are now trying to sell to the Irish people, that somehow we can reject this treaty and that we'll have access to emergency funding if we need it, is twisted and it's misleading.
Thank you. Deputy Boyd Barrett. Sorry, can we have some order, please?
Taoiseach, thanks, Count Corley.
Thank you. Deputy Boyd Barrett.
Taoiseach, under the impact of austerity...
Please.
Under the impact of austerity, Taoiseach, this week the European economy plunged back into crisis, and with it the chorus of opposition to Angela Merkel's austerity treaty has risen, with unions and governments across Europe, including some of your former comrades in the trade union movement in this country, coming out against this treaty on the basis that the austerity required in it would be disastrous. It's fair to say, Taoiseach, that your government stands nearly alone with Angela Merkel in still promoting this treaty as a good thing. Now, in that context, Taoiseach, the Taoiseach said yesterday that citizens of this country should have every piece of available information on the fiscal treaty prior to the referendum. That commitment is a little bit hard to credit, given that your government has hidden the Troika away from being asked questions by the press or the opposition, precisely on the grounds that they might say things that might upset the citizens before the treaty referendum. But if the commitment to give us all available information is a serious one, can you answer this direct question? What will the cost to the state, in numbers, be to meeting the treaty targets in the year 2015 and afterwards? The treaty targets in terms of the reduction of the deficit down to 0.5% and the reduction of the debt to GDP ratio to 60%. And can I be helpful in this regard, Taoiseach? The Central Bank quarterly bulletin for April says that our GDP is 162 billion. Our debt to GDP ratio is due to be 120% by the year 2014, which means a national debt of 200 billion. To get that down to 60% requires halving our national debt to 100 billion, and 120 of that is 5 billion per year in cuts for 20 years to pay down the debt, plus whatever cuts are necessary in order to meet the deficit targets. Are those figures correct?
Thank you.
Taoiseach, are those figures correct? And if they are not correct,
can you please resume your seat? You're way over time. Thank you. Taoiseach, please.
Okay, let me.
Sorry, please. Would you please?
Okay,
it's a serious issue. Would you mind giving respect to the person asking the question and then the person trying to reply to it? Thank you.
First of all, Deputy Boyd Barrett is right. This country has a very big debt, and we have a very big deficit. And treaty or no treaty, we are going to have to get that down, because the only way that we can bridge the gap at the moment, Deputy Boyd Barrett, between what we are taking in and what we are spending is by borrowing. And in order to borrow, we have to have people that we can borrow from. At the moment, there is nobody in the private financial markets since previous government put us into the EU IMF programme, nobody in the private financial markets who will lend to this country. We have to get the money that pay the wages, pay social welfare payments, keep the schools and the hospitals open. We have to get that through the programme that has been agreed with the EU and the IMF. Over time, the new European Stability Mechanism will come into play, and we hope we won't need to have access to that, but it is an important safety net that is there, an insurance policy, if you like, that we would have access to. For those reasons, it is important that we pass this treaty so that we have access to that emergency funding. Otherwise, Deputy Boyd Barrett, what will happen is that if we don't have access to that kind of borrowing, you will have to cut. You'll have to make huge cuts in pay, social welfare payments and the services that are provided to our people. Now, in terms of getting down the debt to GDP ratio over time, the government's objective is that we do that by growing the economy. That's what happened in the 1990s. Between 1991, for example, and 2000, the debt to GDP ratio of this country was reduced from 95% to 35%, even though, in fact, in money terms, the actual size of the borrowings had actually increased from 36 billion to 40 billion. And the reason that that was done was because the economy grew. And that's why the government's strategy is, on the one hand, ensuring that we have discipline in our budgets, ensuring that we are prudent in terms of the way we manage the public finances, get our deficit down, and at the same time grow the economy, attract investment here to create jobs, and pursue a growth strategy for the economy. That's the approach that we're taking on it.
Thank you, Taoiseach. Deputy Boyd Barrett, 1 minute.
Taoiseach, the claim that we're likely to grow our way out of this recession, given the current climate and the figures that are available to us, really is a bit of a fairy tale. The latest victim of the austerity and the crisis in Europe is our biggest trading partner, Britain, that has dipped further into recession.
Please, not
following on
Thanks.
Eurostat figures and Purchasing Manager Index figures, all showing the European economy contracting. But can I ask you to answer the question that I gave you? And that is, what will be required from this state, what will the cost be, according to the figures that are available to us now, in terms of the size of our GDP, the projected size of our national debt in 2015, when we're due to exit the programme, what will the cost be?
Thank you.
Because the estimates that are out there is that it will be 5 billion annually in cuts to meet the debt to GDP ratio targets, and about 5 to 6 billion in cuts to meet the deficit targets after 2015.
Thank you.
That level of cutting and austerity would devastate our economy and further devastate our society. Can you give us the figures, Taoiseach? Because those figures are damning and mean a generation of austerity which will cripple this country.
Thank you.
The figures are the figures that are in the EU-IMF programme. That programme will remain in place irrespective of the treaty, where the programme that we're already in, the EU IMF programme that we are in, takes precedence, and the text of the treaty makes this clear, that for programme countries like Ireland, we remain in that programme until we exit the programme. In terms of the reduction of the debt to GDP ratio, there is no change in the figures in relation to that in the treaty. What we are committed to there is to get the debt to GDP ratio down below 60%, which was always the rule in respect of our membership of the euro. And as I've said earlier, you do it by getting. Bear with me for a moment.
Sorry, would you mind listening to the reply, please? Thank you.
You get that down. You get that down by getting the economy to grow. And in order to get the economy to grow, there has to be confidence in the economy. In particular, there has to be confidence on the part of investors who are coming here. Like, for example, and I'm sure you'll join with me in welcoming Amgen, the 100 jobs that Amgen are announcing in our constituency today. What we have to do is we have to maintain confidence in the economy so that investors will invest in our economy, create the jobs, and get the economy to grow. And in order, I am answering the question. I'm saying that you get the. I'm saying in terms. Let me be clear about it. In terms of the figures, Deputy Boyd Barrett. In terms of the figures, Deputy Boyd Barrett, the figures in terms of what we have to, the targets we have to achieve, are the targets that are in the programme, and we are meeting those targets. In terms of getting down the debt to GDP ratio, we do that by getting the economy to grow, and that is why the strategy that the government has about getting economic growth, getting investment into the country, and in order to do that, ensuring that those investors who are thinking about investing in Ireland, that they have confidence in Ireland, in the euro, and in our economy. And that's why, again, it is important in the interests of investor confidence that the treaty is passed.
Thank you.